My camera's off. Let me turn it on again. There we go.
But the little one is very cute.
He's all right. We'll keep him.
You should. He's very cute. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you have a lot of interview requests, and I very much so appreciate
No problem.
you speaking with me. I usually turn off my video
Okay.
just because it makes it a little bit more clear for you. Um, and I won't keep you for long, but I'd like to start with just your reaction. New Brunswick is reopening, lifting all restrictions Saturday, despite not making it to the
Yeah.
75% fully vaccinated number.
Okay. So, what can we learn from the rest of the world? We look at the UK, we look at the Netherlands, both of which lifted everything pretty much all at once before reaching an extraordinarily high vaccination uptake level. And both of them suffered some extraordinary spikes in cases. Right now, the UK numbers are coming down again, probably due to the fact that people are panicking and are going back to some sort of more contained behaviors. And in the Netherlands, they found out that once the nightclubs are opened, there is an extraordinary amount of spread. So we're entering a new phase of this epidemic, the endemic phase. That's when there's high uptake of vaccine, but an insufficient uptake to render herd immunity. As a result, outbreaks will continue, mostly in the unvaccinated population. But if there's enough infection circulating, then that laps over into the vaccinated population too and heightens the probability of breakthrough infections. So vaccination is not a panacea. It's not a perfect protection for all of us. And its protective ability is heightened when caseloads are low. And we keep caseloads low by vaccinating as many people as we can and by not lifting all the mitigation tools all at once. The thing about Atlantic Canada is you've done an extraordinary job of keeping infection rates low throughout the duration of this pandemic. But all that will change if the borders fly open and you have incoming tourists that aren't fully vaccinated or who might be carrying asymptomatic infection. So my concern is in the suddenness of the lifting of restrictions. This should be a staged, gradual thing with the indicators assessed with every lifting of measures. In particular, because vaccination is not yet tenable for kids, particularly those under 12, they remain the single largest block of susceptible individuals. So I anticipate that most outbreaks will occur in that population. And we have to have tools in place to control that. Right? So we have to have mask wearing in place, we have to have distancing in place, definitely contact tracing. At the very least, have a robust contact tracing regime so that when the inevitable outbreaks occur, we can quash them as quickly as we can. Now, Atlantic Canada has the great advantage, as I mentioned, of having that very low caseload. So maybe that will be the magic recipe ingredient that allows you to ride out the endemic nature of this epidemic. But maybe it won't. I'm particularly concerned about the opening of borders and introducing new infection from tourists. And I understand that has to happen. Tourism is an important aspect of your economy. But you can control that better if you maintain the mitigation tools, in particular, high quality mask wearing, at least for a while. At least for a while. So, again, I haven't got a crystal ball here. All I've got are probabilities. And it strikes me that given what we saw in the Netherlands and the UK and a little bit in Alberta, that lifting everything at once leads to a high probability of at least some spikes in cases.
I mean, I hate to quantify the protection measures, but would you say the lifting of border restrictions or mask wearing? Uh, I mean, for Atlantic Canada, the border restrictions have been, I think, the key, or at
Yeah.
least a lot of people have said that they're the key. What do you think if there was a restriction you would keep? What would it be? I guess.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It depends on what the border restrictions are. If it's just interprovincial travel, well, that's got to open up at some point. If it's international travel, there are controls you can put on that to make it safer. So restrict travel from certain hot zone countries, for example, require double vaccination when you enter, require a negative test and quarantine when you enter. There are a number of tools you can do to control the border situation better while still opening them. So given that, I think the mask wearing is probably more important because either it's there or it isn't. Right? You can't really graduate the mask wearing except to say, we want high quality masks for all indoor activities that involve unvaccinated people, right? And
Right.
also
Yeah.
the economy sort of depends on travel. So I think mask wearing is the least expensive, most impactful thing you could do.
At this point, when you look at where Canada is at, are we close to experiencing a fourth wave, or are we, I guess, is it likely that we'll be
Yeah,
experiencing one?
I don't think so, and here's why. We're going to be world leaders in vaccine uptake, I think. It looks like we are plateauing asymptotically at the 70% stage of people wanting vaccines, but we can push that to 85% by unrolling incentives. We haven't had to incentivize this yet. Other countries have. So we're hitting that incentive opportunity window at a very high level. So I think we had a good shot at pushing our vaccine uptake numbers to 85%. And that will put us near to herd immunity, which would be extraordinary. The second reason is that we seem to be on board with maintaining mitigation tools in most of the country, especially around schools. And that's key to me. If you can control outbreaks in schools, you've got a good chance of controlling it in the community at large. So I don't think we're going to have a fourth wave. I think what we're going to have is an endemic scenario that resembles a fourth wave. Now, we should not celebrate an endemic disease. Endemic disease means there will be suffering, there will be some death, there will be some taxation on our healthcare system, but there will be no lockdowns. There will be no business closures. People will go to work and go to school. So normal, how we want to find normal, is coming back, but is coming back in a different kind of scenario for several months and possibly years, depending on how long it takes to quash this thing globally and how quickly we can roll out new vaccines and have appropriate population uptake. So Canada is, I think, in one of the best situations of all the countries around the world, given our vaccination supply, given our citizens' willingness to use them, and given more or less rational decision making from our leaders. So I don't think there will be a fourth wave, but we will have cases.
Oh, wow. I so appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, let's hope I'm right.
Thank you so, so much for your time. I really appreciate this, and take care. I really, I appreciate like the comments from people like you, because I think it does help people all across the country
Great.
understand that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Bye bye.
Take care.